Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Art of Inspired Selling, where I have a phone going off and I've got to silence that. My name is Catherine Nunez. I'm the host of the Art of Inspired Selling. And as you know, this show is a long show format because I want to give enough time to my guests to be able to deliver valuable information in case you were frozen in place today. You know, the pandemic hit. Whatever else is hitting, the Delta virus variant is hitting. You guys, it's time to grab a hold of those subject matter experts, find some of that information that they're delivering that you can implement in your business today and not just survive, but thrive. So I'm a part of a networking group, and one of the members of my networking group, I had an ask that I needed somebody that really believed like I do in mission and values and vision. And as you know, I teach that in my one-on-one program, the S-Cube method with my clients. Each and every one of them, we need to review their mission and their vision and their values because we need to understand what they stand for, what they stand against, and why they're even doing what they do in their business. And so I'm bringing on my guest today, who's Randall Gerber, who's going to talk about the mission, the vision, and the values that are important, not for your personal brand, but for your business. So he too deals with entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses. I'm going to bring on his short bio, and I'm going to tell you more about him. Please remember, this is an interactive show. If you have questions, comments, I'll bring your comments on the screen, and we're here to celebrate you for showing up and supporting the Art of Inspired Selling. So in the heart of Columbus, Ohio's entrepreneurial ecosystem, and not far from the stadium of his beloved Buckeyes, is the office of Randy Gerber. Randy is a successful business owner, a devoted family man, an OSU alumnus, and arguably their biggest fan. Since I'm not a football fan, I'm not sure I can even talk to you about that stuff. But anyway, he is, and we're going to hear about it. And a leader in figuring out how to simultaneously have a successful business and a robust personal life, which is what the goal of every entrepreneur I know is. So he's going to talk a bit about how he can do that. Born and raised in Buffalo, New York, Randy knew he was called to do something different. He moved away from his family and the wings at Barbell Bill Tavern, his favorite food to this day, to attend the Ohio State University, where he graduated from the Fisher College of Business, bypassing the safety of a corporate career. He founded his own business in 1991. That's a long time to be an entrepreneur. Gerber LLC is a professional services business focused solely on improving the business and overall happiness of first-generation entrepreneurs. His holistic approach integrates his clients' personal ideas and aspirations with their business, life, and financial goals. His business has 16 employees and has served over 200 clients. Randy is publishing his first book. Congratulations, The Integrated Entrepreneur, Achieving Happiness in Relationships, Business, and Life. It's a decade-long approach his friends teased him would never get done. But it will be well worth the wait. It describes how first-generation entrepreneurs can integrate work demands with the many personal relationships in life throughout the 5 stages of success and 2 stages of temporary failure. Citing personal experience and real-world examples, Randy's book is a must-read for any entrepreneur seeking the clarity and direction to be successful in both business and life. So without any further ado, I will bring on my next guest, Mr. Randy Gerber.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. It's great being here, and it's great getting to know you, and I love hearing your story with the Art of Inspired Selling, which is pretty cool and important as well.
Yes, so my background is in sales, and I've been in B2B field sales for over 30 years. And so, you know, sales reps, entrepreneurs, people that have to have high energy and get up and serve every day, we have to find something deep in our gut, right? To keep doing what we do. As a sales rep, as an entrepreneur, when you're selling your own services, you hear no a lot. And as a veteran salesperson, I had to learn that no meant just not today, but I'll be back tomorrow with another offer that you might want to take a look at. So it was really that pleasantly persistent attitude that helped me have so much success in my sales career. But, Randy, one of the things that is a question I ask all my guests is as an entrepreneur since 1991, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Tell me, what is it that you do daily, weekly? Maybe you would go on a retreat or something. What helps you stay fired up and want to serve these entrepreneurs, these first generation entrepreneurs? Do you have some morning routine, some books that inspire you, some people that inspire you? What is it?
Honestly, our clients inspire us. The truth of the matter is that when I first started in business, we did general financial planning for anybody. And about 10 years into it, I realized that I didn't love working for all of our clients at that point. But I really did love working for our people who own businesses. And after some more reflection, it was not just people who own businesses, but rather the person who's taking all the risk, the person who's responsible. And so, it's a cool existence I lead. I mean, we have 200 and some odd clients. Our average size company is north of $55 million of sales. And entrepreneurs are super fun people in general. I mean, they're really fun. Their cup is half full. They look at problems as opportunities, and they like to solve issues in unique ways. And so, it's really just fun. So when I think about what was the inspiration, it wasn't a person, but rather a group of people. Mm-hmm. And this very day, my days are really different every day with who I'm talking to, what we're talking about. And sometimes you just never know, but it's always interesting. That's for sure.
Good. And so you touched just gently on your target market. So primarily mid-sized companies. You said 55,000, 55 million. Who's your target market? Who's your sweet spot?
Yeah, so those are really a couple different questions. There are if you look at our block of business today, the average size company is about $55 million of sales. Okay. That number's going up pretty rapidly. But from a sweet spot perspective, really anybody from 10 million to 100 million. We have several clients above $100 million of sales. Those get a little more corporate. And then the smaller businesses are sometimes difficult because resources are, and they're not money resources, but rather time and people resources are often limited. And so, our whole business model is helping our clients grow their business with purpose, growing it in a fashion that is the right growth rate financially, the right growth rate to serve your mission to your clients, the right growth rate to stay happily married, to be a good, fun, responsible parent. So it's, and there's no handbook, or at least there wasn't a handbook before, regarding, how do you grow your company? Entrepreneurs, they know they have to grow. It's grow or die. And the issue is they don't know how to control the rate of growth or the change and what to do next, what to do first. So we've, paid close attention to our clients, since we've made this transition in 2001, to what works and what doesn't work.
It's great. I have some noise outside. Sorry about that. So, let's talk about your OSU Buckeyes. Is it Buckeyes? I'm so sorry. I'm a Sun Devil. I don't know anything outside of being an ASU Sun Devil. But tell me about, where are you today? Where are you sitting?
Well, I'm in my office, which I am downtown Columbus, which is Ohio State is about 2 miles up the street. And we are ranked 4th in the country right now. The big game against Oregon Saturday. It should be a challenge. It's at home. So, one of the things that's cool about Ohio State is that depending upon what year you're measuring, we're the largest or second largest university in the country, and maybe third largest. But we have lots of people coming out of school that are entrepreneurial and trying to change the world in a real positive way. And so it's fun to be a ecosystem right down the street from my alma mater.
And when I was in school a few decades ago, I just don't remember there being a big entrepreneurial program at ASU. So having that at a university and having you just down the street, I'm sure gives you an opportunity to give back and to speak. Do you do that? Do you engage with some of the young alums that are coming out, or?
There was so for years we did. We were involved with Ohio State in a variety of fashion. Most of my emphasis the last 15 years or so has been on an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, EO. And EO transcends not just entrepreneurs across the globe, frankly, but there's incubator and there's student engagement as well too. So being here in Columbus with so many youth, there's lots and lots and lots of ways to engage through EO. And yep, it's awesome. It's really awesome. And it's not just Columbus, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and I've heard lots of positive things about Columbus. I think I even have a cousin that's a chef there. I have friends that have lived there. I only hear positive things about Columbus, other than the weather. But other than that, it's a great place.
Better than Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's better than Buffalo.
It's all relative, right? It's all relative.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about vision and mission and living a balanced life. And that's something that you've successfully been able to do. And when you put together this PowerPoint, you guys, I'm going to share this in just a second. What was it just really a problem that you had heard over and over again from the people that you were working with, that they were missing that mission critical, the vision, the foundation of where to check in back? Tell me what caused you to really want to be a proponent for this mission, vision, and core values.
So to be super clear, we didn't invent mission, vision, and core values, and it's been around forever. And what caught our attention when we look at our client base, we look at our client base from a variety of perspectives. And when, in the end, we say we pay attention to our most successful clients. Now, in America, successful often means dollars. And we've tweaked that definition to those people whose businesses are leading the marketplace. They're having fun in life every day, and they're financially successful. They're making money. Because you can lead the marketplace and make a lot of money and be completely miserable, but that doesn't seem to be what life's about. And so bless you very much. And so we are looking at people who are able to own their space, make money, and have a lot of fun doing it. And so when we look from that lens across our client base, or even my friend group, that, what were the common themes that they had that you could start attributing, and almost to a company, it was having a strong mission, strong mission and strong core values. Vision's a little tough sometimes, but having a strong mission and strong core values. And back to the book, one of the, in part of my own personal journey, that I don't have a great relationship with my dad, and I look at a lot of choices that he made over the years, and there was no integration of life with how you lived your life every day, to being a great entrepreneur and also great parent and great spouse. And so I think that if your company is an entrepreneur, which truth of the matter is, for 99% of entrepreneurs, their business is their most important financial asset, right? And so if you have to treat that well, and having a strong mission and having strong core values is so critical and paramount.
Okay, let's share the screen here.
Sure.
Are you ready for your?
I'm ready.
I see us on your screen instead of your presentation.
So I have to do what now? Say again.
I see us on the screen. I'm about to share our screen instead of your,
perfect.
of your presentation. I see us.
Oh, I see. So hold on a second.
I'll wait till that's ready.
You see the presentation now?
Yes,
Great.
I do.
Okay,
you guys, and we have people watching. We have some people on YouTube. We have somebody watching from Twitch. You guys, come in the chat if you have any questions, or if you want to know anything that we're talking about, please drop a message in, and we'll be more than happy. Randy will be more than happy to answer your questions. So so let's talk about it.
So the mission, it indicates a purpose of the organization, reason for existence. And if you just stop and just read that sentence and really reflect on it, This is where so many entrepreneurs, and specifically first-generation entrepreneurs, they don't get this right. They not from lack of effort, but rather lack of truly making a decision at a root level. And so this is where a statement that allows you to communicate your purpose and direction to employees, customers, vendors, and other stakeholders. So as an example, we want to be the premier professional service firm in the country, exclusively advising first-generation entrepreneurs. And we wrote it that way in part because when we say exclusively advising, well, it could be on anything. It could be on financial matters. It could be on people matters. It could be on business matters. Oftentimes it's on family matters and just personal matters of how you view the world. And so, for full transparency, it wasn't like that the first time we thought of our mission statement, it just popped out of our head and we picked it and it was perfect. I mean, I guess a story that is, I find that's truthful and painful at the same time is back in around 2002 or 2003, we hired a consultant to help us refine our mission, vision, values. And she came in and she said, do you have values? Yes. Do you have mission? Yes. What are they? I ruffle through and I pick out,
right.
a piece of paper and I read them off to her. And then she said, well, okay, do you mind if I interview all your employees over the course of a week or two to ask them what their mission, vision, and values are? I'm like, sure. So she reports back two weeks later. She said, well, there's good news and bad news. I'm like, well, what is it? She said, well, the good news is that people know you have values and you have a mission. The bad news is they have no idea what it is. And in fact, they all think it's different. And so it's like, holy smokes, that at the end of the day, as the primary, I'm the only shareholder, but the primary stakeholder in the organization, if I can't consistently articulate our mission, vision, and values, how can I expect our team to do that as well? So
they make it up, right? They start to make it up. Yes,
that's right. So the first point of this whole thing is that you as the entrepreneur or the primary stakeholder, whatever your mission, vision, and values are, they have to resonate with you, and they have to be top and front in your mind all the time. So there really isn't a business day that doesn't go by here where there isn't some reference to our values or to our mission in some way. So, and then that last blue box, it may touch on product or services or core values that are consistent with your why. And, so many of you heard of Simon Sinek,
yes.
Who's, I think, awesome and does a great job articulating what a why is. In my experience, that the more, and I still feel that identifying your why is really, really difficult and really, really hard to do. So the more time you can understand what your why is, the easier it is to have, and does it blend in with your mission and your values? And so, for us, it's my why personally is really being part of the creative process that entrepreneurs go through in growing businesses. I just love it. That's why back to your earlier question on inspiration, it's my clients, and it's just even the whole entrepreneurial community, just talking to them and understanding what they're going through is just, it's awesome. So
do you see, now you and I serve a different audience. I'm primarily solopreneurs or entrepreneurs that have smaller teams. And it's easier for them when they're starting out to understand what their personal mission statement is, understand what their personal why is. But now we start to get into a little more blurred lines, right? They started their business for this reason, but do you see them change their personal why into their corporate why after their revenues are getting 25 million, 55 million? Do you see now more with a family held business that when they're that authentic self and communicating their personal why, it helps the employees stay closer knit with a tighter culture? Or how does that change?
I think I think what happens is I actually believe your why is your why in general. You know, it's there at a root level. I think that as you mature and have more experiences and you have more perspective, the words reveal themselves in a way where they're more articulate around what your why is. And so it's just more obvious. I mean, you know, my self-awareness at 53 years old today is very different than it was at 23 years old. And so
I would agree with that for me too.
Yep. So I'm not sure the why changes. It's just that you're, you know, if you're introspective and thoughtful, that you get a better handle on what that is as time goes on. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And it also, you know, if your why is to serve a bigger world, you know, you want to share your gifts. My why is to share my gifts with the world. And I just happen to have a business that allows me to do that, right? Where I can see things that other people might not. But at different stages of your life, what you're doing can still be in line with your why, but it's just you're serving that why in a different place. You might not have the finances today to start a large company, but you're serving your why through what you do with your children, or you're with an animal, or through a religious organization. You're still serving that why.
Yep.
It just manifests itself in a different how many people you're serving.
Yeah, it's access to other people, it's maturity, it's you know, relationship. So yeah, but I totally agree that it does evolve and expand as time goes on. But most likely, your why probably hasn't changed much.
You learned to articulate it. Okay, so what do we have next?
Yep. So then vision, it looks forward and creates a mental image of the ideal state that the organization wishes to achieve. It's inspirational, it's aspirational, and should challenge employees. And again, this is something that very well, you know, vision and mission could be exactly the same. It just depends on the organization. And so it really reflects future aspirations. It gives company direction and promotes growth. And it indicates what you want to become. So, you know, at one point in time, Microsoft, their mission was to have a desktop on or a computer on every desk in the country, right? Pretty specific. But his vision was actually to change the world via computing. So there's related, you know, and now Microsoft's vision is something to the effect of make the world a better place, something like that, you know. And so you look at Tesla, which I think just is one of the most obvious examples of having a strong mission and vision. When you really look at what Tesla is, we all think of Tesla as a car company, electric car company, but they're not. They're a company here to stop global warming and change the world. You know, it's just that they're using vehicles to do that. So
yes,
visions, I think for most entrepreneurs, visions are easier because it's a bit dreamy and you can dream where you want to be down the road. So back to your earlier point on, you know, using your voice to change, you know, have a huge voice that change a lot of people's, inspire them and lead them. That's usually easier for people because they can see where they want to be long term. A mission though can be harder. And so, and we don't get hung up on mission and vision so much, which one. You need to have one of the two. Some companies have both. The ones that we do care about though are core values. And this core values truly are the ultimate cornerstone to any business. And you know, we're at a point now where we hire and fire our employees to our core values. And we also accept or terminate client relationships based on our core values.
That's really important. That's really important.
It's super important. And it helps make it clear for everybody what the game is. And so, you know, for us, our very first core value, which we call it one, but it's technically two, is to be present and be positive. And, you know, and this is, you know, in my life, I live this 24/7, and it's super natural for me to do this. But, you know, I have a choice all the time. I can be present or not, right? And so I choose to be present. And in this world with electronics and cell phones, it's very hard for people to be present nowadays. And it's something that, you know, when we have a client come in the office, I want them to be present. I'm going to be present too. And then be positive. And this is in the world we live in 2021. It's really easy to not be positive. And in my opinion, still you have a choice in how you solve and how you tackle issues, and you can do it from a negative bent or a positive bent. So be present, be positive. And so when we're thinking about day to day, we all have bad days, right? And we at different times, but you can make a choice in how you manage that day. And somebody asked about being mindful, and this is when we have a super strong values. You should be mindful all the time of what your values and work within that. Our second value is bold pursuit of excellence. And I when I'm being a bit sarcastic with our team or even a client, and they don't do an excellent job, I might say that was a bold pursuit of mediocrity. And they get the point real quick. And I had a discussion today about this. Look, we're in a what we do for a living for our clients. Perfection is the only thing that matters. We can't, getting an A- doesn't cut. You have to boldly pursue excellence all the time. We
just had a comment from Vani. She's a local entrepreneur here in San Diego. And she said, you're exactly talking about being mindful. So yes. And something that came to my mind when you started talking about how you hire, fire, according to your core values, you have an assessment in place that helps you ask questions, and when the founder is answering them, it stands out very loudly whether their guiding values are in line with your core values. Does that screen happen before somebody speaks to them?
So as it relates to employees, specifically, we have a 5-step interview process. There's 5 separate interviews, and we talk about, situations they've been in the past and how they address situations. We manufacture scenarios and ask how they would, handle it. And so we really do talk about their demonstration of their values and how if they were trying to boldly pursue excellence all the time, what does that mean to them, and what kind of scenarios. And with our clients, when we're interviewing them and they're interviewing us to be hired, it's really easy to naturally guide into those conversations around your beliefs. And so in terms of a measurement, I actually think it's pretty straightforward. And Gino Wickman, with Entrepreneurial Operating System, the book he's written called Traction, really developed a pretty simple process, which you sit down. So again, our values: be present, be positive. You can,
just in case, right here.
There you go. There it is.
Yes.
He has a tool he developed called the People Analyzer, which basically you give a person a check if they meet that value, or a minus if they don't, or a plus minus if they're kind of, and ideally you want all your employees, and in my opinion, your customers and clients to have positive check, pluses. If you have somebody that has a minus, it's a warning. If you go through 3 warnings, it's termination. Usually 2 minuses means they should go anyways, right? So it's really easy, and when you use that framework on a day-to-day basis, it's easy to communicate your feelings and your attitudes towards different events and within the scope of your value system.
That's great.
Makes sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then the last thing on this particular topic, I think it's important organizationally that you really need to have 5 or less values, because I look at some of these organizations that have 15, and it's impossible.
It's a tall order, right? It's a tall order. Yeah.
I think Twitter has some crazy number of values, and I don't know how they live by them. And so, when you think about values overall, they really are guiding principles, and they guide every decision you make along the way. They define the culture of your organization, and they also, I think, define the way you live your life when it's also your household, right? It attracts the right people, and to be super clear, attracts the right people for you. I mean, there's right people for everybody. They don't have to be all the same, right? And so it's all in the eye of the beholder. But within your value system, really attracting the right people for your organization. I don't think an organization can grow. I don't know that you as a human being can grow without really core values and really, that are thoughtful. And as I mentioned before, less is more. I don't know how you have 10, 15 values. You have 3 to 5, and it's a common theme. And I think if you pay attention with most of the great entrepreneurs and great leaders in this country, that for the most part they have a few core values or a few guiding principles of how they drive their life and their decisions and their businesses. They should be.
So when you work with clients and they've had a certain level of success, right? Do you see them come in with well-defined values, or are those things that you really see the majority of your clients that you work on?
So Catherine, it's a really, really good question. Our clients that are in high growth mode, the human beings who own those business oftentimes have personal values, but they haven't been able to articulate them in a fashion for the business that are guiding principles that help define the culture of the organization. So they oftentimes have people pain that because they're hiring, in their opinion, good people, but there really is a mismatch on values too often, and so there's people pain. Our clients who really have, again, who are successful, defined as they own their marketplace, they're happy, and they're making money. They do have very clear, consistent core values to a client, and so it's pretty clear that those companies with values simply do better than those that don't.
And I don't like to use the word assume, but if you're in a major growth mode, right, and sometimes you just need a warm body to fill a position, and you might have made some choices out of, I've got to get product out, I've got to get somebody to do this, and they didn't so much have the time to interview properly. Are those processes and procedures that you help them put in place?
So you're asking a really delicate question.
Well, I'm seeing it happen. So
Randy Gerber 5 years ago would have answered that question. Yes, you help put systems and processes in place to minimize the negative impact that individuals can have with your customers. I'm kind of coming to the opinion, and this is a COVID oriented or COVID result, is, sell less. Only sell what you can, that's done really, really well to your best customers. And you're going to have to say no to some people. And because of putting out a product that is inconsistent with your mission, inconsistent with your vision, inconsistent with your values, is actually worse than putting out more product. And so I've really, and I'm not sure where this plays out. I mean, COVID's interesting, right? Because it forced all of us to change so much and how we did things day to day, how we communicated. And so now we're not that we're past COVID, but it's less restrictive than it was a year ago or a year and a half ago. And however, there's still a lot of elements that are still floating around, and one of which is you can still use I'm not going to do that, or I can't do that, or whatever, how you want to articulate it. So I'm really beginning to the point where you might need to think about raising prices and sell less. So now back to your original question. Yes, systems and processes can make a big difference, and you may not hire the perfect person. They can get you a long way. I've been saying this forever, and we're guilty of it ourselves. We actually finally this year are making a massive investment, but small businesses, so your solopreneurs, your small businesses, the one thing that we under invest in, and we've done it forever, is training. And training is so critical. And in hindsight, if I could do it all over again, I would have made more robust investments in time and money and people and training, because training goes a long way to get your people to live and breathe your values day to day. But a lot of folks just don't understand. They don't know.
And you're talking more about corporate training, mission values training about what the corporation does in your corporate products? Or are you talking about any?
All the above. I mean, honest to God, how to write a letter, how to write an email. I mean, it really is, our first training module is literally how to communicate with clients. And you'd be surprised. And when I say bold pursuit of excellence and communicating with a client, well, that word excellence is relative, right? And so we have to
Bunny
define.
has another message here. She says, I agree. I think we give the teams the tools to be aware of where their intention is spent so they can develop their own systems. Depends, right? If you're empowering your employees to do things their way that are still consistent with the company, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be within the scope of your values for sure. And like our term of bold pursuit of excellence. I mean, excellence is a relative term. And the best analogy that we say, like, when you were in school, when you're in high school, getting a 96 or a 95 on a test was good enough because you got an A. And our measurement here is no, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be 100%, because clients don't like when we're really close. They want you to be perfect.
We almost got it right.
We almost got it right.
Give us another retainer. This time we'll do better. Right?
When I order a steak at a restaurant, I don't want it to be almost perfect. I want it to be perfect, right? And so it's a tricky one. And so you have to train people to define what that looks like.
Yes. I'm a perfectionist, and I've learned a little bit to let go in these times. I tend to use that word grace, but we'll see. All right. So values, less is more, timeless, moral compass, way of life. Those are all, you guys maybe take screenshots of this. It will be here for you to see later. And also I'm going to put a link to Randall's. Randy, what do you like to go by? Okay.
My mom thought maybe I'd be president of the United States someday, so she named me Randall just in case, and how wrong she possibly could be.
There's the link, you guys. If anybody doesn't see that on whatever platform you're watching, you can send me a DM, and I'll be more than happy to give you the link to the slides for Randy.
And so, back to kind of our earlier topic, and this is the last slide. I make fun of ourselves because the slide on the left was our original values we had, which, clarity, provide pure transparency and quality, guidance, provide leadership and advice, fulfillment, achieve something purposeful, wow, extraordinary service, passion, find your way, and innovation. And those are all good words, and they're all important, and we embrace these on a day-to-day, but you really can't hire and fire. You can't hire and fire somebody to fulfillment. You can't hire and fire somebody to guidance. So, over a long time, we evolved our values. It's still the same door. We kept the door, but we changed the words, and there they are. So, and it doesn't mean that during that period of time when we were serving our clients in our original value system, they weren't doing a good job. We were doing a good job, but just that we, internally had more people issues with our team, that not being completely on the same page at the same time. Certainly, we took clients that we absolutely should not have taken. That now when I think about healthy sense of urgency, for us, that means we need the clients to communicate with us. Like it's not a one-way street. It's we need to hear from them, and they need to hear from us. Live and breathe entrepreneurship. That's cornerstone of what we do. So. When you're thinking about your business as a solopreneur or a emerging entrepreneur, it's okay for it not to be right the first time. Just keep chunking away at it, we still try to be super clear with our clients all the time, and we definitely try to provide guidance and fulfill make sure that we're executing for them. But again, you just can't hire and fire to those values. Make
those
sense?
Are great. Yeah. Those are great, for sure.
In the history of entrepreneurism in America, there are those companies out there that we've all read about and all heard about that at the end of the day, they had insincere values and they're not here anymore, or they stole from people, etc. And so it's not fail proof because you have some clever people out there, but I say the vast majority of businesses and individuals and even nonprofit organizations that have clearly stated values, live and breathe them, they're more effective than those that aren't.
That's great. Those are really great statements for everybody to think about and to listen to. Randy, do you have any downloads or handouts or anything that on your website that people can go work on their mission, vision, values? Do you do any workshops with them? How, if somebody was wanting to get better at that, do you have anything, tools to support them?
We do. We have on our Gerber Emerging website, which is just that, it's gerberemerging.com. We have some tools on there regarding not just mission, vision, values, but also to grow a business with purpose as time goes on. In the book that just went out, it actually just went out for sale September 1st. So
congrats on that.
Thank you. Never really thought that we would have a published book, but we do. We talk a little bit about mission, vision, values, not explicitly, but rather, living a deliberate life, being super purposeful in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so I think the combination, that for any entrepreneur who wants to be happy, and not that this is a key to it, but rather just to help support it, and really have strong relationships with your spouse and your children and your friends and your parents. It is a bit of a how-to, and a lot of it's what you might think is obvious, but people don't put into practice. And there's a bunch of how-tos with that. So, but yeah, on gerberemerging.com, there's tools on there that people can look at on mission, vision, and values.
That's great. That's great. And thank you for letting them know that they can access them there. So any call to actions that we have today? Do you have a book link or anything you want to share? How can people get in touch with you? They can go to their gerberemerging.com website and they can schedule an appointment.
Reach out via Gerber Emerging.
Okay.
And we're in the process of making robust improvements to it at this very moment. So look at it today if you can, and look at it again in another 30 days. We're right in the middle of doing that. I would, in terms of call to actions, I would, if you are a solopreneur or entrepreneur, take 20 minutes, half an hour, and just kind of write down all the possible words that come to your head for values for your companies and for your company, and you'll be surprised what surfaces.
I have a values worksheet too that I can put in the chat after we wrap the show. That is just words that people can circle just to help inspire them about what are some of the words that they could use for values. And I had another question. So with the 200 or so clients that you have, did you see a running theme through COVID that taught you anything about the survival of these companies? Like, what were some of the best practices that people were putting in place to just keep things going? Anything that you can share, words of wisdom?
You know what? It's so obvious, and it was so hard because people were so scared, but you just couldn't over communicate, and really with all your stakeholders. I think a lot of folks were communicating with their customer, but they weren't communicating with they were communicating with their employees, not the customers, and I think really being focused on communication, and more than ever, it's a really good question, Catherine, that, I think that the labor force is in severe motion right now. Yeah. It's working very hard to align with their own values. So people are completely, they recognize change isn't so awful. It was forced upon them, but it wasn't so awful. So now they can self-induce change. So do I want to work? Do I want to work that hard? Where do I want to work? What do I want to do? And so I think the next 12 to 18 months, maybe a little longer, you really can't over communicate with your stakeholders and constituents, because people they're resetting, they're revisiting what's important to them.
They really are. Yes.
And that's okay. It's okay. It's painful.
Well, it's more than okay, right? It's really good because the companies are getting in line with their values and their missions, and they're going to attract their people. They're going to attract their people that live and breathe their values. They're happier in their workplace. There might have been a toxic person there that wasn't in line with the values because it really wasn't communicated. Now we have people that have had time to stop and think. You know, more than ever, I know that family is so important to me, and I don't want to work somewhere that takes me away from my kids 4 nights a week and want me to work 10 hours a day and give me, I need 121% of your time. Well, guess what? No.
Yeah.
So understanding those boundaries as people, as employees, as employers, as entrepreneurs, it's really, really a good time right now to stop, think, and listen to yourself and to write it down and to be able to articulate all of those things. So it is a good time.
And I agree with you on everything you said. And there is pain involved because that transition, even if there's awareness that, hey, this isn't the place for me, but there's still pain involved in that transition for every party, right?
Yes.
And so you have to be willing to embrace it. And I think in my opinion, it's one of these things you might as well do it all at once. There's no reason to spread that pain out.
And do it quickly, right?
Do it once. And you know what? I think your customers and your clients and your stakeholders, they're willing to be patient with you for a period of time. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, no, at the end of the day, it's a good thing. It's just, it's unintended consequence of COVID, although a good one.
Yes. Yes. All right, Randy. So I'm going to wrap the show, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Art of Inspired Selling. This show will be always there for you to watch on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we will have this show ready for you guys. If you have any questions, Randy, I've put in the show notes already. They can reach out to you on LinkedIn. They can reach out to you through your email, through your website. There's lots of ways. If you guys if you're an owner or an employee of a company in that size that he was talking about, and you feel that they could benefit from working with Randy and his team, go to his website, see what they do, see what they're about. Start a dialogue and live a happier life in a great culture, right? And make money.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate the time today, and I love what you're doing, and I love that your audience is being inspired by you on a regular basis. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you so much. You can stay on. I'm going to wrap the show. You guys will see you next week. Take care. Have a great weekend.